History has its serious sides. We have great wars that reshaped the world map, groundbreaking discoveries that propelled humanity forward, and inventions that revolutionized our lives. But sometimes, when we look at it closely, history looks like a long list of stupid things that humanity has committed. Take Napoleon Bonaparte, for example. The man who conquered half of Europe, a strategist, a military genius, and the terror of monarchs. One day, after signing a peace treaty, he decided to organize a rabbit hunt to entertain his guests. Sounds like harmless fun, right? The problem was that someone on his staff brought in tame rabbits instead of wild ones. These furry little creatures, instead of fleeing in terror at the sight of the emperor and his entourage, pounced on them, hoping for food. Imagine the scene. One of history's greatest commanders, surrounded by his generals, fled in panic from a stuffed animal army. Rabbits jumped onto his lap, climbed up his uniform, and he was forced to take refuge in his carriage. It was a true disaster, only instead of cannons, it was teeth and claws. Thank you for watching. I'll try to upload a longer, more serious video in a regular format. Once a week on Saturdays, and on other days I'll upload funny historical shorts. If you don't want to miss out on a dose of history in a humorous way, please leave a like and subscribe so you don't miss out on my content. It will greatly help me grow the channel. Let's travel back to 1918, in the midst of World War I. Back then, the Americans had a carrier pigeon named Cher Ami. This bird was a real badass, sort of like Rambo, only with feathers. During one mission, when a group of American soldiers was surrounded by the enemy, Cher Ami was sent to deliver a message requesting help. He was shot, lost an eye, and his leg was nearly severed. Despite this heroic pigeon refused to give up. He flew 25 miles in 25 minutes, delivering a message that saved over 190 lives. Cher Ami survived, was decorated, and became a legend. He showed that even in the harshest conditions, a determined pigeon can outperform many humans. How about 1511 in Strasbourg? The city's residents started dancing in the streets, and no, it wasn't a spontaneous party. They simply couldn't stop. This went on for days, even weeks. Some danced until they collapsed from exhaustion and even died. Historians still debate the cause of this mass hysteria. Maybe ergot poisoning, maybe some strange mental illness, or maybe someone just played a song so good that no one wanted to stop. Imagine walking down the street and everyone around you dancing like crazy. It must have been an unforgettable spectacle. King Gustav III of Sweden was utterly convinced that coffee was poisonous. He set out to prove it scientifically, or so he thought. He organized an experiment that would sound like a comedy script today. He took 2 prisoners sentenced to life imprisonment. He ordered one to drink coffee every day, the other tea. He wanted to see who would die first, thus proving the harmful effects of coffee. Guess what? Both prisoners outlived all the doctors who supervised the experiment, and even outlived the king himself. And so, coffee was scientifically defended by 2 convicts. Sometimes life writes the best scenarios. Tsar Peter I also had his own ideas for modernizing Russia. He wanted Russians to look more modern, following the Western European model. His solution? A beard tax. If you wanted a beard, you had to pay for it. In return, you received a special token that said, "Tax paid." It was like an exclusive hipster badge, only 300 years earlier. Imagine if we had to pay to wear a beard today. That would be a real blow to many. Peter the Great demonstrated that governments can be very creative in seeking new sources of income. In the Middle Ages, when monks were copying books, they sometimes became bored. And then extraordinary things happened. One of them began drawing bunnies in the margins, but not so sweet and innocent. These bunnies hunted humans, fought knights, and even beheaded them. Yes, these were the first medieval memes. Today, these manuscripts are worth a fortune and prove that even in a monastery you can be a little bored and still have a sense of humor. This proves that human creativity and the need for entertainment have always existed, regardless of era. Who would have thought that medieval monks were the pioneers of internet jokes? And in Australia in 1932, they decided to declare war on emus. Why? Because they were destroying farmers' crops. It sounds like a joke, but it really happened. They sent in the army with machine guns to deal with the birds. And you know what? They lost. The emus were too fast, too clever, and they simply couldn't be caught. To this day, it is the only bird species to have triumphed over an army. This proves that nature can sometimes surprise even the most heavily armed humans. And that's precisely why I love history. Because hidden between the dates of battles and the names of rulers are moments when humanity behaves utterly absurdly. Sometimes chance changes the course of history. Sometimes someone simply comes up with an idea that sounds good, until it's implemented.